Steve, how are you, man? Trev and I are excited to have you on today. We just want to let you give yourself an introduction, highlight what you're doing right now, where you're coaching at, and just give the audience of what you do.
All right, yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Glad to be on here. But my name's Steve White. I'm from Rochester, New York, upstate New York. I'm coaching right now. I'm coaching varsity basketball. Well, boys varsity basketball. I'm coaching women's JUCO, and I'm also an assistant at USCAA school, which that season is over already. But I was helping out over there also. So
Nice.
that's what I got going on coaching wise. Since we're on the coaching part right
Nice, nice.
now.
Cool.
Here.
Steve, what's kind of your favorite? I mean, what's your favorite one to coach right now? Do you have between AAU, high school, JUCO stuff? What's kind of your favorite thing that you guys are? It's probably tough to narrow it down, but what's your favorite thing to do right now?
I think my favorite one right now. So as a coach, I feel like
It's hard.
it's not necessarily hard, but like I think it's like season by season, like which one would be my favorite, right? So right now, if I had to choose one right now, my favorite one right now is the varsity boys, because I've been with them for 3 years so far, and we like I can see the progress that we made over. So like that's a little. I got a little more gratitude coming from that, but the other two are actually challenging a little bit in different ways, which I enjoy that part. I like and I enjoy figuring it out or creating a culture or something like I enjoy that aspect of it too. So like you said, it is hard to choose like which one is more enjoyable. But as of right now, I'm really enjoying the season that we having with my varsity boys.
Can you tell us a little bit about the logistics of coaching for three different programs and at three different levels too?
Yeah. So to be honest, the only way that worked out for me one is because of I'm an assistant at all of them.
Okay.
I'm an assistant at all of them, and each one of them actually asked me to uh, kind of have a different role. So I'm able, and then I obviously with the high school schedule and college schedule, they actually kind of play on different days. So I don't really have too many conflicts when it comes to like games and situations like that, and even when it comes to practices, a lot of the times because of the college schedule and the high school schedule, I might not even have conflicts with practices, but at the same time it is going back and forth between them. It's kind of tough, but a lot the head coaches for those programs actually they like I said they asked me for a different role for each one of them. So it actually I was able to you know be able to fulfill each role and not make it too strenuous on myself. It was just it kind of was seamless. Like I'm able to do what I need to do, and I don't miss too many games on any of them actually.
Nice.
Can you talk a little bit about like the importance of exposure and showcase events for certain high school athletes and how it's important for boys or girls to attend the right events to kind of get noticed and potentially earn a scholarship at the next level?
Yeah, for sure. That's a lot of the things that I try to talk to all my players about is trying to just e- that get that exposure in almost any means necessary, like even whether it's social media or whether it's going to a camp where or even just like now we have like things like huddle and stuff where you at a click of a button you can send it to every coach in America. So it's like um I it's very important for those kids to have that exposure, because now it was already tough. It was already tough before with just the competition of every year is another 18-year-old every year is thousands and thousands of 18-year-olds. But with the onset of social media, with the onset of the new JUCO rules, and stuff and things like that. Like you really have to work to get your name out there at this point, and that's the only way to. I mean, I don't want to say it's the only way, but it's the ideal way to get a scholarship or anything like that is really push yourself and not rely on actually the coach either, right? Because back, I mean, years ago, the coach would send out emails or do this, and we didn't have for a lot of us, we didn't know that we could reach out to these coaches or we didn't know that process, even just that process of like getting our name out there. So we relied on the coach. Now you kind of got to go full force on your own, and hopefully your coach does his due diligence too.
Cool.
Well, we all know that coaching brings everything out of you. It drains you at sometimes. How do you feel that you add impact to each of these programs that you're working for right now? Like, how do you impact each one individually and differently?
So now I'll work my way up. So I say like for overall, I enjoy teaching the game and as a overall. So anytime I go into a coaching situation or I I immediately try to build a rapport with and understand who my players are, so I know how to talk to them, so I know how to interact with them, so I know those ins and outs of how to get across to them with the things that I'm trying to say, so they can trust me, right? So on a high school level, it's more of that teaching. Like I bring that realism because I played, so I'm not just speaking from a sense of I just know basketball. Like, nah, I've been in that situation. I've been in this predicament, or even when it comes to like school. Like, I'm not even just speaking to you like on a basketball court. Like, I understand every aspect of what you got going on right now because I lived it, and I'm gonna give you that. So high school is more of that, giving the knowledge. The high school level is more I bring the knowledge and also my expertise of as a player I was a thinking guard. Like I played guard and I enjoyed the mental part of the game. So I'm not so my what I contribute to my high school team is think about the game in this way. Think about this. So let's try to do this. Next time this play, think about going this way instead of going that. Like those mental. I try to give them the mental game because everybody teaches them the physical part already.
Right.
You get that from everybody, but nobody, unless you actually watch the game, which this generation kind of don't. They don't watch enough. You don't get that mental aspect of it. So I provide that part. Like I want you to think about this game in a totally different way. And then like with the women's team, it's a little more. I guess you call it emotional. So like they bring a different aspect to the point where I have to have patience and also the understanding of where they're coming from. One, because I'm a male in the women's sport at this time. They have a different they approach the game differently. And even with the outside things that some of our players have, like we got to be there for them in a sense. And not to say that the men don't, because even on the high school level, the men, like you actually like a mentor, a big brother. Some of them father figures. It's all that, right? And we know like that comes with coaching. You get all the hats. So so with the women's one, I my what I bring to my women's team is more of that understanding. I'm not, if you got something on your mind, like what's up, what we doing, so I can get you back to what the main goal is. I want you to be able to understand. Once again, it's a mental situation. Instead of I'm not telling you the mental part of the game, but how do we get over this? You had a bad day. How do we get through this? How do we get through this practice? How do we get through this game? Oh, you didn't like how something went. How do we revert our mind to get back to the main goal?
Right. Sometimes it's not even basketball related.
Right.
It's just getting their mental right. I can relate to that.
Yeah, for sure. And then with the men, is it's just the testosterone going. So you just
a lot of ego,
yeah, a lot
testosterone.
of,
We
and
know.
so with that, and once again, me being a player, I understand it. So now when somebody's crashing out, I'm like, bro, chill out. Like I just one of the last games we had with the men, we were up 9 points, and one of the players was spazzing. I said, "You do know we winning, right? Like, calm down." So with the men, it's just my contribution to that men's team is getting those egos to mesh.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you're wearing a bunch of different hats right now between four different team schools. What's kind of the biggest differences that you see in yourself when it comes to coaching those four different teams between AAU, high school, boys, girls, at the different levels? What's kind of the differences that you see in yourself coaching? Obviously, you hit on a few major ones a couple minutes ago, but just your thoughts on that.
I mean, so the biggest difference between like those levels is the style of play, for real, right? So AAU is a little more open. You can like it's more roll the ball out, let's see what happens type deal. I mean, you can teach. I still teach AAU. Like if I'm doing any AAU program, we gonna learn how to play basketball. But on that level, the AAU is a little more open. It's a little more relaxed. So the style of play is a little quicker. It's a little faster than the high school game because it's not as organized. Um, so I would say between all of them is the style of play. With high school, you might slow it down a little bit more because you value your possessions and things like that. AAU is more about exposure, so we want to get you to do the things that you do so people can see. Women play the game a lot different than men. They don't have the athleticism, so they got to think it out. So with that is a different style of play. So it's a different outlook on that. Men, we got that's more the men's college, especially on the USCAA level. It's good players, but they may not have it's something that they don't have. Either they don't have the athleticism, or they don't have the basketball skill, or they don't have the basketball IQ, or they don't have. It's something there that's not why they're on this level and not NCAA D3 or NCAA NAIA or D1 or something like that. So the style of play, because I've noticed on the USCAA, it's a little more, it's structured, but it's a little open also. Like you can get away with some open play, and on that level. So if I had to choose one thing that was a little different, like the differences between all of them is definitely the style of play.
Gotcha. Steve, how do you feel about like the transfer portal and where it's at right now at the JUCO level, and how do you feel that's kind of impacting high school sports in the area?
Man, listen, that transfer portal, boy,
crazy.
I talk about the transfer portal at least probably once a week because either it's with parents, with the players, with the coach. Like the transfer portal changed so much because it became like college sports became like free agency. Like there's no like stability. You don't know what's going on. And I got players that be like, "Oh, I'm waiting for that." I was like, you can't wait no more. Like, if you got an offer, let's see what's going on. Like, let's talk to this coach. Let's figure this out, so you can use the transfer portal. Like, and I think that's where a lot of the players go. Like, they're not being taught it, and so we have to figure out a way to utilize the transfer portal because it's here, right? Like, and as a high schooler, especially like a graduate of high school, like you up against a lot more. Like I said before, we already had thousands of 18-year-olds coming out every year. Now we got grown men transferring every year. so now that pool that you had to fight against is even bigger. So yeah, that transfer portal it's a game changer, but at the same time, it made it so much harder for like the high schooler. That's not so. the non ESPN 100 type of high school. Like those kids are still cool. They do what they do. Those nationally ranked kids, those 4-star, 5 stars, they are fine. Those 3s and under is where it gets sticky.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that it just made it more difficult for those non-exposed or those low-exposed players.
Cool.
I wanted to go into what's your hand in recruiting at the JUCO level? Do you have any impact or say on that? And how much recruiting are you doing from high schools, if you do, or the other coaches? How much recruiting are they doing from high schools, other JUCOs,
So for the
putting
women,
out showcases?
right. So the women's team, our head coach is a recruiting monster, bro. Like I I don't have to do anything, but so
No.
what I do is if I go to a game, if I see a player, if I know somebody, whatever, like I'll make my rounds with my connections or, that my the college MCC's head coach he watched so much film and he
Mhm.
be emailing all the time,
Gotcha.
like nonstop. So he's a monster when it comes to that. Which I'm like I always said if I was like a head coach in college, like I would get an assistant that was on that type of time because I
Mhm.
know for me that would be the difficult part for me because
Mhm.
I'd rather talk in person or like see something. He's watching film and I watch film a lot, but he's like on it and he's just reaching out all the time. Um, on the men's level, on the US CAA, the AD and the college and the head coach, the head coach does a lot of local and he has his rounds. He has his connections locally, and the athletic director of that school actually has some connections like overseas and stuff. So he kind of brings some guys on. So they kind of tag team that in that sense or whatever. And I mean, high school, you if you win it, people find
Mhm. That's true.
you.
True.
Sure, for sure. What do you kind of feel about players in high school reclassifying if they have better This is kind of the last big one I have for you, but what do you kind of feel about players in high school and if they have opportunities to reclassify maybe for like an NIL deal? What do you kind of feel about that? Do you have any? All right, cool. Well, the last one that I've got is kind of talking to you a little bit about players reclassifying in high school that may have if they have an opportunity for maybe an NIL deal or some way to chase a little bit of extra money. What's your thoughts and opinions on players reclassifying for that opportunity?
NIL, I'm always for that, right? I mean, it's been a long time coming since players have been able to capitalize on their talents and the things they can bring off the court. So I'm all for reclassifying for those opportunities. But the thing is like not also just for the opportunity. Like let's understand like what we doing when we do it. Like let's
Mhm.
not just go out here and just reclassify just because I can. Like understand what that brings. Understand, if if you go to a prep school, like let's make sure that prep school is a good school for you. Like let's not just go to a prep school just to say I went prep or because that the making that wrong choice can hinder you more than and it can hurt you a lot. Not just on as much as it could help, it can hurt. So um I'm definitely down for having players reclass or go prep or whatever the case may be for those NIL opportunities. But I think we need to educate the players and stuff more. So we're not just sending them out here doing anything
Mhm.
and hurting them in the long run when it might look good up front, but people who know how this world works, how the basketball world works, know the ins and outs. Like I think those are the people who need to one speak up, but two parents and people like need to rely on them a little bit more. They instead of trying to do what's best for their kid, like if you never did it, like you don't, how would you know if you if you didn't play or if you didn't go prep or you don't know nobody who went prep, or at least reach out to somebody who's been in this situation or this world long enough to be like, all right, this is a good move, this is not a good move, you know.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are afraid to ask
Yeah.
in a lot of those situations, which end up biting them in the end. But kind of last question I have for you, and then we could wrap up with a fun question. Um, how do you feel like kids and parents can improve their situation of recruiting? What do you suggest or recommend that they can improve getting eyes on them? I know you mentioned it earlier,
Yeah.
on Huddle, but what else would you recommend or suggest?
So especially for the player, like I said, I feel like social media is your best friend at this point, right? Because it allows you to be organic. Like you can post whatever you need to post. You can post workouts, you can post game footage, you can post open runs. Like it's no limit to, so you can actually show different aspects of your game. You can show a organized basketball game, and then show like, oh, if I play in an open little system, I can do this also. Like you have that opportunity to actually showcase your full game just off of um what you do in your everyday life. And also you can promote yourself in a sense of this: I'm working out every day. I'm trying to get better. I'm in the gym. Like you can show that to a coach who may not know that you even exist, and it's like, oh, okay, like this person actually cares. This person wants to be better. Or so I would say for the player, I would go so hard on social media to the point where you're gravitating those eyes, because the more you post, the more people see you, the more interaction you get. And at the same time, it might not even be a coach, it might be somebody who know a coach, it might be somebody who's a family member with somebody or something like that. So social media is definitely the best friend. Then you got to get out. I do recommend going to AAU. Let's understand which AAU programs we're going to, especially for the 10th and 11th graders. Let's see if you're good enough to play on a team that's in the that plays during the open time, like the recruitment time, when coaches are around. um and let's be realistic, like who are we actually targeting? If you're not the best player on your own team, like let's not try to go to EYBL type. Like let's not do that. Like let's be honest with ourselves. Not saying you can't, but you're just not there yet. You're not there right now. So let's focus on the D3s. Let's focus on the NAI. Let's focus on the JUCO. I actually think you should just focus on, like, with these new rules, most people should focus on JUCO. Just find a JUCO, because it don't matter the level, because if you do what you're supposed to do, you're going to get a look from a JUCO. It's a lot easier to get recruited out of JUCO than it is out of high school. So and that's another thing I would recommend to a player. And for the parents, look into those junior colleges. Like do do the things outside of the basketball aspect. Unless you're a part of that world, unless you understand that world. Like I just said, like if you're a parent who just wants the best for your kid, let's find a junior college. Let's do the research. Let's help my son or daughter research, the things that they might not want to do. They might not want to research that, but you got time to do it. Let's look at these colleges. Let's reach out to these coaches if we can. Um, so I would say for the parents, just try to guide them in the schooling aspect. Let's help with the search, and let the players do the playing, let the coaches do the coaching, like let that all go by itself.
So here on Coach's Corner, we in Steve's coaching corner right now.
Right, right.
Walk us through your favorite drill, man. Walk us through your favorite drill. Why is your favorite drill? What it brings out of players, and yeah, just why you love it.
So I'm gonna give you two, right? So for like a little warm, not even a warm up, but I like this drill. It's called like 11 man, where you kind of play like two on, the 3-on-2, 2-on-1 situation is more so of 3-on-2, 3 on offense, 2 on defense. Whoever gets the rebound outlets outlets the ball to a wing. You go back down the other end, 3-on-2. So it's a continuous 3-on-2 with the whole team. So everybody's rotating and everybody's getting reps. Everybody's playing defense, and a lot of the times we like to reward the people who stay on, because there's only two ways you can stay on the court. You either play defense or you get a rebound, right? So like it enforces the hustle part of it. So I enjoy that a lot. And then another one is more of when we're trying to learn our plays or like run or work on our defensive sets or whatever. We call it nickel and dime, where the defense has to get 10 the defense has to get 5 stops before the offense scores 10 points, and that creates a competitiveness so I like a lot of the live drills. I like that.
Nice, love that. Trev, you got anything else?
I don't think so. I think those are my big ones that I had. So we always appreciate the time, Steve. So yeah.
Always, man. I appreciate being here, man. Hopefully I'll be in here a little bit more often.
Definitely, yeah. Thank you for taking the time with us today, man. We really appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
you have a lot of insight and valuable information and
it was
perspective.
fun,
so appreciate that.
I appreciate that for sure, man. Yeah, we gotta keep this going.
Absolutely.
For sure.